Hey everybody, it's Christine Kopr here with Sotheby's Realty. I've got my awesome real estate accountant, Jimmy Le-tang CPA, with us today. Wanted to do a quick interview with him. Just a quick note about Jimmy. He is a real estate tax issue specialist. We work together. He's my accountant. He's awesome. So if you ever have any tax issues or real estate accounting questions, please reach out to Jimmy. He's there for you. Hi, Jimmy.
Hi, Christine, and everybody else. Thank you very much for joining us today. We really appreciate your time.
We hope everybody is healthy and staying well and sane throughout this unique time that we've got going on. So we thought, why not provide you with some relevant and hopefully valuable information about the financial relief measures that the Canadian government is offering us. So Jimmy, I was wondering, did you want to take it from here?
Yeah, sure. I'll take it from here. Thank you very much, Christine, and I really appreciate the opportunity to speak to you and, of course, to the rest of your client base. I'm always in it to help everybody else. So this session today, my understanding is we're going to talk a little bit about some of the relief measures that are available to individuals, and we'll talk about the eligibility criteria and, of course, how to apply for the Canada Emergency Relief Benefit. And then, Christine, towards the end of this year, I understand you got some questions that you already got from your clients, and then so feel free to shoot your questions after we go through this. All right?
Thanks.
Okay, fantastic. So just hang on one second. I'm going to share my screen with you guys. And what I'm going to share with you here is a website from the Government of Canada with respect to the Economic Response Plan. So you should see on your screen Government of Canada website. And there's the URL at the very top here, and I'll get Christine to share that URL with you guys later on. But this particular website will list out all of the relief measures for individuals, all of the relief measures for businesses. Today, we're going to talk about relief measures for individuals, and I'm sure Christine would love it. We'll come back and do another session for businesses at a later date, okay? So as you are hearing from Justin Trudeau and all over the news, the Canada Emergency Relief Benefit is the primary method from which Canadians will get relief if you meet certain criteria. So if you click this link right here, it gives you a little bit of information about what the CERB is. And when you click on eligible workers, you will find out all the relevant information about who is eligible. You'll also find out how to apply, and I'll come back to how to apply later on towards the end. But let's talk about who is eligible for the CERB. So you'll see here that there are 4 primary criteria. The first one being is that you must be residing in Canada. And for me, I would interpret that to be a resident of Canada for income tax purposes, although it's not exactly certain as to what the federal government means by living in Canada or residing in Canada. You also got to be 15 years old, okay, or older. And then you must have had to have stopped working because of this viral pandemic, and that you did not voluntarily quit your job, or of course you were already eligible for EI or other sickness benefits, okay? And then of course in 2019, you must have had at least $5,000 of income. So $5,000 of income there, that could be employment income, that could be self-employment income, that could be dividend income from a company that you control, for example. $5,000 is the minimum threshold for income in 2019 for you to be able to participate in this benefit program. And then, of course, the last little bit is that this program is broken up into 4 periods, right? Each period, of course, is 4 weeks. So there's 4 weeks in a reporting period, and in the first 4-week period, you must not have had any income for 14 days in that 4-week period. And then in subsequent reporting periods, you must have no income. So no income means no employment income, no self-employment income, right? In addition to the other qualifying criteria. So I think for the most part, it's pretty clear what the qualifying criteria are talking about. The only one that I really don't know for certain yet is what does the federal government mean when they're talking about stopped working? Now, Christine, I understand you've got several people who are self-employed workers. They might be gig workers, for example. And I know that Justin Trudeau has already kind of made some reference to self-employed individuals and what it means to be stopped working, but we haven't heard yet definitively, what does it mean to have stopped working? Because Christina, in your own business, you know that, you could be talking to your clients. You could be talking to your accountant like you're doing right now. You could be making videos like you're doing right now. Does this constitute working? So to stop work, does that mean you have to stop talking to your clients, stop making videos, doing marketing? You might not be receiving any income, right? No deals are completing or no revenues are coming in. But if you're still responding to emails and phoning your client base, does that mean you're still working? And if it does that mean you don't qualify for the Canada Emergency Response Benefit? Those are some very big questions that, as of right now, I don't think there's a definitive answer. Although I am led to believe that that Justin Trudeau will be announcing more guidelines with respect to what the government is thinking in terms of what does stop working mean. Okay, so with that, I'd like to go back to how do you apply. So if you go back to that same website, how you apply is through your CRA My Account. And the CRA My Account is a portal for individuals to get information about the tax return, to change their address, and do a bunch of things with the Canada Revenue Agency. If you don't already have a Canada My Account, you won't be able to get it in time to apply for your CERB. And that's because to activate your CRA My Account, you are mailed a security code to your address on file, and then you got to enter that security code into the security clearance verification with the CRA My Account before you could actually use the CRA My Account. So I want to be very clear that if you don't already have a CRA My Account, then the only way for you to apply for the CERB is by calling the 2 telephone numbers that are listed there. Okay? Those telephone numbers are, of course, available 21 hours a day from 6 a.m. Eastern Standard Time to 3 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. I think it goes without saying, but I'll say it anyways. If you call during the middle of the day, you're likely going to be waiting for a while. You might not even be able to get into the hold queue, so you just have to keep on trying. I really would suggest that if you're calling in, you would call in early in the morning or late at night. Those will probably be your best chances to get through the phone line. Otherwise, apply through the online channel would be absolutely your best bet. Okay? So with that being said, Christine, I'm going to throw it back to you. Let me know if you have any questions, and let's get those questions answered.
Yeah, so thanks so much, Jimmy, for walking through that. Going back on, if you reference back to the CRA website, there was applying for the Canada Emergency Response Benefit. Now this is, again, applying to individuals. There's apply for EI or apply for the CERB. So if you're, how do you know which one to apply for?
Yeah, that's a very good question. If you were eligible for EI benefits before March the 15th, so March 14th or earlier, so you lost your job before March 14th, or you would have otherwise become eligible for EI before March 15th. That means you are under the old EI program, okay? And for lack of a better term, the CERB is right now the new EI program. It just happens to be called the CERB. Okay, so if you lost your job on March the 15th or later, you are going to be applying through the CERB. Right now, EI, as we used to know it, is replaced by the CERB.
Okay.
And once the CERB is over, you would then revert back to the EI system. Now, of course, there are benefits to the CERB. If your benefit under EI would have been less than $500 a week, then you are going to get $500 a week based on the CERB. In other words, you're going to get more, okay? But if under the CERB, you are going to receive less than what you would have received under the EI program, you are only going to receive the $500 a week. So for those people, of course, they're going to see less. But I believe the maximum benefit under EI anyways was about $575 a week. So there's a shortfall of $75. So I think for the most part, most individuals, if they had a choice under the old EI program or the new CERB, I think they'll find they'll be better off under the CERB. It should result in more money in your pocket.
Okay, cool. Awesome. Thank you so much for clarifying that. I've got 2 more questions because you actually answered or touched on one, which was what is this whole thing about stop working? Because, yeah, that makes things a little bit complicated for those of us that want to try to continue to get through this period of time. What if, actually, just coming back to the qualification part, you mentioned something about getting income, like there's these four-week periods. And in one of the 4-week periods, you were, I was taking notes, that's why I keep looking down.
No worries.
No income for 14 days in a 4-week period. So I'm not sure how many people might experience this, where maybe they, in a 4-week period, may only receive income at a certain point in time. So for example, somebody like me, where I might get some income, but I didn't in the other 2 weeks of the 4 weeks. Does that mean someone like me would qualify? Or
Yeah, that's a very good question too.
Throughout the 4 weeks.
Right. So my understanding of how the CERB works is that it's broken up into four reporting periods. Let's call it that. Okay. Each reporting period consists of 4 weeks. Okay. So if you earn in the first initial 4-week period, if you have no income, then of course you qualify.
Mm-hmm.
If you have income in the first of the 4-week period, then you would effectively not qualify because you would have earned income during that 4-week period. So if you didn't qualify in the first 4-week period, you would qualify for subsequent periods if there are no income in subsequent periods.
Right. So you can't have any income at all. So basically, it doesn't matter if you have income within there's nothing to do with this 14 days. It's like in a 4-week period, if you get any income, you don't get the Canada Emergency Response Benefit.
Right, that would be my understanding. And in fact, I mean, while I got you here, there is a Q&A section. Let me just go back to that here.
Yeah. And what if you only got like $100? Like, what if it was,
that's a very good question too. So, the details of that need to be worked out as well. But let's go and see if we can find here. Let me just share my screen for you 1 second. So here, under questions and answers, the question was, what if you were working? So how do I know if I apply, or where can I apply? What is the eligibility criteria? Can I have other income while receiving the emergency response benefit? I think that would be your question, right, Christine?
Yeah.
So it says right here, in response to, can I have other income while receiving the CERB? The answer is, you must have stopped working and be without employment or without self-employment income for at least 14 days, consecutive days, during the initial 4-week period. This includes income from paid leave, self-employment days. So in other words, no income at all for at least 14 consecutive days out of the first 4-week period. And then for subsequent periods, you must have no employment income or self-employment income. So I think the answer to that question would be no. You cannot have any other income.
Huh.
Yeah. And they do make specific reference to subsequent periods. So I think in the frequently asked questions, they do tell you what these subsequent periods are. So let me see if I can find that for you.
It's interesting because some people may have done work and had not received payment yet and might be receiving.
Yeah, that's a very good question too. So
right.
I'm not certain what it means, to receive. If I were to think about it in terms of just the, I don't know, a plain English is what I like to call it. If I'm receiving money, then that means I'm receiving income. I don't think the government really plans to differentiate between whether this money was for revenues that you've done previously before and are now just collecting that income, right? Yeah. Or if this is, new revenues, et cetera, whatever the case may be. I think what the government intends is, of course, if you're receiving money, then that would be considered income for you.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
So what happens if somebody receives income as an employee, but also works as a contractor? And I mean, it sounds like if they're an employee and they receive some funds because maybe their employer is able to receive some of the subsidies from the government,
right.
then that is the funds that they would have to rely on. They wouldn't be able to also apply for the Canadian Emergency Response Benefit.
Yes, that is correct. So if you are receiving employment income, even if it's reduced employment income, you're still receiving income.
Okay.
You would not be eligible for the CERB. Okay. If you are self-employed and you are receiving income, then you're definitely not eligible for the CERB.
Right. Okay. And if somebody hasn't received their employment income, let's say in the last 4 weeks because they haven't been able to work, then they could potentially apply for the CERB at this point in time because they haven't received the income. They could get the CBRE, but then maybe they might receive a paycheck down the line from their employer or something like that. And it might go back and forth in terms of each period of eligibility.
Yes, that would be the way I would read it as well too. So again, when you go to apply, there's going to be questions about whether you have received any income, whether you are expecting to receive any income. I would have to think that if you're going to answer no to those questions, then you would be eligible. If you answer yes to any of those questions, then a yes might boot you out, or a yes to a subsequent period might disqualify you for that subsequent period, right? Now, as we know, the eligibility to apply is based on, sorry, not the eligibility to apply, but the timing of when you apply. The government's asking you to apply based on your birth month, right? Now, I'm helping some people apply as well too, like relatives and whatnot, and their birth month isn't up yet. So I actually haven't seen the specific questions, and truthfully, I've tried to go online just so I could see what the questions look like, and the system was down yesterday morning. I tried to go in at 9 a.m. yesterday morning, and I couldn't even get in. So
same for me. I'm in December, so I got to wait till Thursday. I've actually seen a couple posts from my friends saying it was really easy for those of them that it's like, hey, I just asked for a check. I got a check. So that's awesome. So it sounds like it's going well for people, which is great. And it's amazing. I think one of the things you and I were chatting about is how incredibly fast
I know.
was able to do something.
With that being said, Christina, I do want to emphasize here is, some of the discussions that I've had with my own client base is, what kind of secondary review procedures does the government of Canada have in place to verify that you are in fact eligible? And I think at this point in time, the government of Canada is more concerned with getting money into your hands than they are about making sure that money doesn't get into your hands when you don't qualify. So as of right now, I'm pretty sure we are on an honor-based system right now, right? So if you think you qualify, you go and apply, you answer yes to their questions to say that you do qualify. And I think I saw one screenshot of the application, and the screenshot was basically the eligibility criteria. And at the bottom, it says basically check this box to confirm that you believe you qualify. So you check that box and you say apply or something along those lines. It's literally as easy as that, is what I've been told. And if it's that easy, I would like to think that at some point in time, the government of Canada is going to go back and do their secondary reviews. And it is very possible that people who honestly thought they qualified, but for whatever reason ultimately did not qualify, will have their CERBs clawed back from them. Okay. So, it's not necessarily free money, free reign, everybody go and apply, but it will be subject to some sort of secondary review at some point in time.
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised. I mean, it makes some sense because obviously someone might actually take advantage of the situation under the circumstances. I thought I did read somewhere that there is no penalty if you apply for it, and then they find out that you didn't qualify. So I don't know if it meant like a penalty or interest, but then you might have to repay it on your next tax return or however that's going to go about. And I'm not encouraging people to take advantage of it because there isn't one, because you're going to be paying this like money and there's no sense in taking it away from those who really need it right now. But ultimately, the fact is that the government's actually doing something so quickly to get money into people's hands to help get through this period. Almost no questions asked, and then helping us deal with it and then dealing with the repercussions on the back end. So I think that's pretty awesome. It's been lightning change because we've never seen that before from government.
I know governments are typically slow to move, but I would agree with you, Christine. I'm really happy to see the response time. both for the individuals and of course for the self-employed folks, the businesses as well. The businesses really need a lot of support, and there's support for businesses too. And as I mentioned earlier, I'd be happy to do another session for your business clients as well. But I'm just absolutely amazed at how quickly the government of Canada has been able to move on this particular issue.
Yeah. Awesome. Well, Jimmy, thank you so much for your time. I hope you have an awesome day, and I look forward to doing the next interview with you regarding exactly what we just talked about, the benefits for the employers out there and people who run businesses, because they're definitely the engine, the heart of this country that employs so many people, and they're really, truly the ones that need a lot of support in this time. So let's see when we can schedule the next call and get that information out there.
Okay, great. Thank you very much, Christine, and thank you very much, everybody, for joining us today.
Thanks. Bye, everyone.